In the country of Nigeria, down the village of Igwedo, in the clan of Umofia, there is a man, a wealthy and respected warrior. He brought honor to his people by beating the undefeated Amalinze the cat in a wrestling contest. His name is Okonkwo. Okonkwo was completely unlike his deceased father, Unoka. Unoka feared the sight of blood. He always borrowed and lost money, that's why his family always went hungry. Unoka, however, was a skilled flute player and had a gift of love for language. Okonkwo has 3 wives and 8 children. Each wife has her own hut. He has a barn full of yams, a shrine for his ancestors, and his own hut called an obi. Okonkwo built his fortune alone as a sharecropper because Unoka was never able to have a successful harvest. When he visited the oracle, Unoka was told that he failed because of his laziness. As a result, Okonkwo cannot count on Unoka's help in building his own wealth and in constructing his obi. What's more, he has to work hard to make up for his father's negative strikes against him. Okonkwo succeeds in exceeding all the other clansmen as a warrior, a farmer, and a family provider.
Fellow clansmen, we are in despair. I am displeased to report that someone from the tribe of Mbino killed the wife of our fellow tribesmen. Preposterous! They must pay! Yeah!
The Umofia clan have decided to send Okonkwo to Mbino and deliver the clan's message. Mbino agrees to the terms. They have decided to provide a wife for Agwefi Udo, but they are not sure what to do with their 15-year-old boy offer. During the week of peace, Okonkwo notices that his youngest wife, Ojugo, was missing. He later found out that she went out to have her hair braided. Okonkwo broke the peace of the sacred week and the priest got mad.
You may be the owner of this clan, but you do not have the right to disrupt the peace of the sacred week.
I am truly sorry. It is my wife's fault.
Sacrifice a natty goat and a hen, and pay 1 length of cloth and 100 cowries as homage.
After the week of peace, the villagers begin to clear the land in preparation for planting their farms. Nwoye and Ikemefuna help Okonkwo prepare the seed yams. Just before the harvest, the village holds the feast of the new yam to give thanks to the earth goddess, Ani. With nothing to do, Okonkwo becomes angry, and he finally comes up with an excuse to beat his second wife, Ekwefi. He then decides to go hunting with his gun.
Guns that never shot.
What did you say?
Ikemefuna stays with Okonkwo's family for 3 years. He seems to have kindled a new fire in Nwoye, who, much to Okonkwo's pleasure, becomes more masculine in his attitude. Okonkwo knows that his son's development is a result of Ikemefuna's influence. He frequently invites the two into his obi to listen to violent, masculine stories. Although Nwoye misses his mother's stories, he knows that he pleases his father when he expresses disdain for women and their concerns. When suddenly, Ogbuefi Ezedu pays Okonkwo a visit, the oldest man in this quarter of Umofia. He refuses to join the meal and asks Okonkwo to have a word outside.
That boy calls you his father. Do not bear a hand in his death. Yes, Umofia has decided to kill him. The oracle of the hills and the caves has pronounced it. I want you to have nothing to do with it. He calls you his father.
The next day, the Umofia villagers came to Okonkwo's house early in the morning. As they began to speak in low tones, Ikemefuna and Nwoye was sent outside. The next day, the men of Umuofia began their journey as they talked and laughed about locusts, women, and some effeminate men who refused to go with them. During that long walk, Ikemefuna thinks of visiting his mother. After hours of walking, they drew slowly to the outskirts of Umuofia, and silence fell upon them. Suddenly, a man attacks Ikemefuna with a machete.
You have not eaten for 3 days. You must eat.
Go and bring me some cold water. She should have been a boy.
My son!
I come, please. I am here to spread out the good news of the Lord. I know you were wondering why I am here, but I am here to tell you the God you should worship. Our world is full of sins, of evil spirits, and I want you to be saved.
But we follow our God. We do what He wants us to do. We follow our God. And who are you to tell us who to worship?
The gods you are telling to me right now are not gods at all. They are gods of deceit. They tell you to kill your fellow men, of innocent children. But the God I am talking to owns the earth, the land, the sky, you, me, and all of us.
Which is this God of yours? The goddess of earth? The God of sky? Am I yours? My God of you? What?
They are not gods at all. They are all false gods.
But what we are going to do if we leave our gods and follow your God? Who will protect us from the anger of our neglected ancestors and gods?
They cannot do any harm to you. They are all pieces of wood and stones.
Are you saying that our gods are harmless?
Then the preacher asked for a piece of land where they can build their own church. Not knowing, the chief priests and all the other leaders of the tribe decided to give them a land to split to People began to wonder why the missionaries are still alive, knowing that the evil forests are full of mystic powers from the devil. Nuoya looked them from afar, wanting to listen, but always hides because of his fear to his father. Days have passed, and a lot of people joined them for conversion of their faith. Also, some people were amazed by how the missionaries stayed alive despite of the demons they believe who were residing in the evil forest. Nuoya starts to listen and join the preachings of the missionaries. Amiku, cousin of his father, saw Nuoya staying at the church of the missionaries. He tells it to Okonkwo.
I want to do as the white man does. I want to help the children by setting up a school so they can read and write. I want to leave this town. Blessed is he who forsakes his father and his mother for my own sake. Those that hear my words are my father and my mother.
Where have you been? Answer me, or else I'll kill you. Answer me!
Unless you shave off the mark of your heathen belief, I will not admit you into the church. You fear that you will die. Why should it be? How are you different from other men who shave their hair? The same God created you and them, but they have cast you out like lepers. It is against the will of God, who has promised everlasting life to all who believe in his holy name. The heathens say you will die if you do this or that, and you were afraid. They also said I would die if I built my church in this ground. Am I dead? They said I would die if I took care of twins. I am still alive. The heathen speaks nothing but falsehood. Only the word of God. Only the word of God is true.
You have all seen the great abomination of your brother. Now, he is not your brother anymore, nor my son.
Ezinma grew up in her father's exile and became one of the most beautiful girls in her clan. She was called Crystal of Beauty, as her mother had been called in her youth. Many young and prosperous men of her tribe came to marry her, but she refused them all because her father had called her one evening.
Ezinma, there are good and prosperous people here, but I will be happy if you marry in Omofia when we return home.
Mr. Brown decided to build a school and a hospital and encouraged them to go there.
I'm not interested in joining your school. If you do not learn how to read and write, then people will come and rule you.
Many people then went to learn, and those who stayed longer eventually became teachers. Many churches were built, as well as schools. But Miss Brown's health soon failed, so she returned to her hometown, leaving Umofia. In Okonkwo's return, she is deeply grieved, seeing her clan fall apart.
Villagers, I am Reverend James Smith, and I am Mr. Brown's successor. I'll be making some changes from now on.
James Smith was a dictative and oppressive man. He disapproves with Miss Brown's ways. That's why he made his own ways.
What is he planning to do here?
I don't know either, sir.
Did you not hear about Enoch's compound? It was burned. We must go home when we destroy the shrine.
Tell him to get away from me. This is a place of God. I don't want this place to be desecrated.
The white man says he is happy to see you. Read with him like your friends. He says he will be happy to lead the matter to his hands.
How could that be? He doesn't even understand our customs. How stupid is he, not knowing our ways? Let him go away.
James Smith stood to his ground, but he was not able to save his church. Soon, the church which Miss Brown built turned into ashes, and the spirits were pacified. But they did not know that the extra 50 bags would only go to the pockets of the soldiers.
On, action.
Are you afraid Eagleman will convince us not to fight?
Afraid? I despise him, and those who listen to him. I shall fight alone if I choose to.
The white man whose power you all know too well has ordered this meeting to stop.
Stop right there.
Okonkwo then knew that his clansmen are not planning to fight, for they did not do anything and let the messenger escape.
Which among you is Okonkwo?
He is not here.
Where is he?
He is not here.
I will have the both of you imprisoned if you do not tell me where he is. We can take you where he is, and perhaps your men can help us.
Action.
There he is. And perhaps your men can help us bring him down. Why don't you bring him down? Suicide is an offense against the earth, and he shall not be buried by his clansmen.
That's why we need your help, because you are a stranger.
Bring his body down and take these people to the court.